Welcome back to Eye on Foxborough. I'm Karen Guregian. Today, I am thrilled to welcome three-time Super Bowl champion Duron Harmon. Hi, Duron.
Hey Karen, how we doing?
We're doing great. Duron and I ran into each other at the Tom Brady extravaganza a week or so ago. How was that for you?
It was amazing. I think me and my wife talked about it. That was probably the best sports event that I've ever been to. Just the
Wow.
energy in the building. You're talking about 65,000 fans. Um, Probably, I can only guess, probably over 500 or something like that. Teammates and personnel staff, coaches, just everybody there just to show our respects and honors to the not only the greatest football player, in my opinion, who's ever played, but the greatest teammate.
Mm.
And that is why the outcome was what it was last Wednesday.
Mm. Were you able to, a lot of guys tell me it was like a reunion of sorts from players throughout the 2 decades that Tom was there. Were you able to spend time with some guys and was it kind of like a reunion for you?
Oh, for sure it was. Got to see a lot of people that I probably haven't seen um, since I've been there or since they left. Got to see Akeem Talib, Blunt. I mean, I always see the twins, so that was nothing new.
Everyone sees them.
Exactly. Ran into Randy, Vince. Uh,
Mhm.
who else was there? So many people. Julian, Danny. Got to speak with Nick for a little bit. Casario. Josh Boyer, like Malcolm Butler, Jamie, like I can go on and on. Tavon Wilson, Marcus Forston, guys that I just, I haven't seen in a while. And it was great to see him while celebrating, like I said before, Tom Brady, just you go back, you go down memory lane, you reminisce a little bit. Um, and everything that made those seasons special just starts to come back up. And, a 2 minute conversation easily turns into 30 minutes.
The Boston, New England just had another championship with the Celtics.
Mhm.
They had this crazy parade with about a million or so people. Um, what were those like for you? I mean, what was it like for you to be an athlete in this city? And is it tough or is it easy when you win?
That's what you said it best right there.
Yeah.
It's easy. I'll say easier when you win.
Mhm.
But that place has been, New England, Boston has been very fortunate to have a lot of championship teams. And when that is the standard up there, um, that is always the goal. And when you don't win, sometimes, you look at it as maybe that season was a failure. But at the end of the day, when you do win, and I was very fortunate enough to be there for 7 years and um, go to four Super Bowls, win three, playing six AFC championships. Um, when you do what you're supposed to do, that city they take care of you. And there's, I'm walking out during the celebration, I was, the third safety, and people are still, yelling my name, talking about the closer, excited that I'm back. And, it just shows that if you really put your all into winning in the New England area, that place will love you forever. Now, is it tough? Of course, but you know, nothing is easy or worth attaining. So I enjoyed my time there. I loved it, and I find myself comparing every place that I go to that place, and I'll say there's no place like Foxborough.
I was gonna say you've been, I think, the 6 different teams
For sure.
since leaving, you know. You weren't at any of them as long as Foxborough, but that's all right. Your last stop was Cleveland
Hmm.
last year. So, as you probably know, the Patriots hired several coaches from that
Hmm.
staff, most notably Alex Van Pelt. Did you get any time to interact with him or kind of assess what type of a coach, offensive coordinator he is?
Oh, well, I think he was just, being around him for the time. I was only there for, I think it was about like 2 months, a little bit over 2 months. But he was very well organized. They had a plan, and you could see how the plan would formulate at the beginning of the week. And, throughout the week, he did a good job of getting the guys ready, running. This is what we're going to run. This is what we're going to accomplish this week. And he did a good job of doing it. When I got there, the quarterback was DTR. They had, Joe Flacco just signed there from not playing. And I think if anything that you can see from him being an offensive coordinator is that, every game that we went into, all the quarterbacks were prepared. They had an opportunity to put us in position to win. And I think once Joe took over, obviously Joe was a vet, but him and Van Pelt worked really, really good together. And it enabled us to, I think it was when like 5 games in a row or 4 games in a row, and then we lost the last one to make sure that we had a good playoff push. So I know one thing, the guys are going to be prepared. Um, they're going to run that football, and anytime you have a younger quarterback like Drake Maye, you always want to give him the keys to be able to run the football, so that throwing the ball when it's his time, it's not as much pressure, and you use the run and the play action to get him some easier throws and get him in a rhythm.
Yeah. Well, everyone is anxious and excited about Drake Maye, the third overall pick. When is he going to start? How soon will he get in? But, Jacoby Brissett is going to hold the fort uh, until that time. Did your paths cross with him in New England?
Oh,
I forget.
yeah, but now,
Yeah.
yeah, he was there. I think it was the one year that he got traded his second year. But
Yeah, he's there 1 year. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, me and Jacoby, he's another guy that I ran into that I didn't get to see
Mm.
recently. Jacoby has proven time and time again he is that veteran quarterback who can step in and do what you need for him to lead an offense and have a a productive offense. He showed last year when he was on the Commanders that when he got an opportunity, he can sling the rock and get it. Same thing when he was in Cleveland, and I think this will help him too because same offensive coordinator, he has some familiarity with the system. He ran the system. He's older, and he could be that great bridge quarterback for Drake Maye to show him, all right, this is the way that it needs to be done for this offense to work. And then when it's time for, Drake to step in, he'll have a good mentor and a good showing for him to fall back on.
Do you still kind of keep an eye on the Patriots? I know, as I said, you've been with other teams now, but is there a part of you that still kind of pays attention to what's going on in Foxborough?
For sure. So many relationships. Obviously, not too many players that I play with are still there. But at the end of the day, the Patriots, that was home. I don't know, 3 of my kids were born there. My first 4 were all raised there at some point. So I have a lot of ties, even from the community standpoint. So I'm always, uh, watching to see what's going on over there because I know eventually when I get done playing, that'll be the area in the team that I'll root for the most.
Well, obviously they've moved on from Coach Belichick.
Mhm.
And in your mind, how great of a defensive mastermind was he, in your view? And how hard is it going to be for Gerard to kind of be a reasonable facsimile, you know, to one of the greatest of all
Yeah,
greats?
it's tough. Tough shoes to fill. I tell you that.
Yeah.
But Bill was just like you said, he was a mastermind. The things that we did on defense, um, it would just force teams to play left-handed, and a lot of teams, they had their stuff, they had their playbook, and they just run their stuff. They do what they do, but he would try to force them to do something else, and I would say 9 times out of 10, most people just didn't have an answer. And when the
Mhm.
teams were talented and the continuity was there, and we had that culture that was built from 2000 one to when Tom left, it was easy for everybody to, Bill says, do this like we do this because we know what's going to come from it. And it's going to be winning at a high level with a chance to win a championship at the end of the year. And I mean, the things that we would do from moving the middle of the field safety over top of the best receiver, then putting our best corner, whether it was, Darrell Revis or Akeem Talib or Stephon Gilmore or Malcolm Butler at times, we would put them on their number two receiver, just stuff like that. Or, we would play zone and then, we play cover three zone. And then, you know what? When we go against a DeAndre Hopkins or a Antonio Brown or Julio Jones, we would take one of those, zone droppers, have a D lineman drop instead, and then we'll put man on him so he can't get the ball. So, just different things. And I think the one of my favorite just Bill Belichick mastermind stories was just the Super Bowl against the Rams. Obviously, we were a man team, heavy man team, blitz team at that time. And what we did leading up to that 2 weeks before on first and second down, we went to a too high team. Haven't done it all year. Haven't showed it, played a lot of cover four and cover two. And the Rams just had no answer for it at all. They scored 3 points. And that was just, him watching the film and seeing what they struggle with. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the Lions when they played the Lions, and the Lions almost beat them earlier that year. And the Lions played a lot of cover four and cover two to deal with the boots and the play action and having firm edges for those zone runs. So it's so many things, that I just have running through my mind that I can tell you just how smart Bill Belichick was and how much of a pleasure it was, to be a part of, his teams. And then, as far as Gerard just has to look at it as, you know, Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick, and I'm Gerard Mayo. If I even think about trying to be who he was and, in it, and I guess, just like I said, just trying to be him, it won't work. It just won't work because we are all our own people. We all have different strengths. We all have some weaknesses. And we got to know who we are as men and as leaders. Bill knew who he was, and Gerard is finding out who he is as a head coach. We know who he is as a player, great leader, phenomenal player, phenomenal leader as well. When we know who he was as a position coach, great position coach, got a lot out of his players. And now, he has to take another step of just continue trying to grow as a coach to do the best that he can to get this team back to winning and winning games that matter.
Having learned, I can imagine it was fun playing and knowing that you were going to mess up the the offense you're playing against. Do you think Gerard, having both played for Bill and coached with Bill, has a grasp of the type of things that Bill would do to confuse other teams, after watching film?
For sure, without a doubt. I mean, I knew that Gerard Mayo was going to be a high level coach my rookie year when I can't remember, I think what he tear his pec, he tore something. And
Yeah.
he was breaking down film for Bill. Like that was his project. He was breaking down film. And for Bill to trust him to break down the film and throw suggestions, it showed me that he values a lot what Gerard Mayo thinks and he trusts his judgment. So they already think similar when it comes to football, because when you
I
go,
think it was that the year of the Seattle Super Bowl win. I think that was the year
yeah,
Gerard did. Yeah, that's my recollection. But
I,
anyway, sorry to
yeah,
cut you off.
it just
Yeah.
it shows that he has that football mind of being able to be creative and what did he think can help the defense to stop offense. And when you're around Bill for so long, I think what he played, 8 or 9 years, and he's been coaching there for the last, what has that been, 5 years? Excuse me. That's a lot of time where you spend learning from the greatest coach who ever coached the game. So I think it gives um, Mayo a starting point to be able to, and a foundation to be always to look back upon and, you know, grow from. But at the end of the day, Mayo is going to have to be Mayo for him to be the best coach that he can be for the Patriots.
And in being Mayo, he provides kind of a stark contrast. I mean, Bill liked to keep the players a little bit on edge, and challenge them. He was a tough, hard-nosed, old school type coach.
Mm-hmm.
Gerard, on the other hand, wants to ease the tension. He wants a kind of a family atmosphere. Is
Mm-hmm.
that, I mean, I think both ways can work, but is the way Gerard is perhaps more conducive to what works in the NFL today with today's type of players and athletes?
Well, today's NFL is not the NFL from even when I got in the NFL, 10 years ago, and certainly not from, 20 years ago. So I think it helps. We're just seeing a trend in the NFL where a lot of these teams are just going with younger coaches, you know, coaches, like you said, who are a little bit more energetic, a little bit more positive, a little bit more, like you said, about family. And, you look at what Sean McVay has done, over there. I would say Kyle Shanahan is another. They talk about, how much fun they have over there. Green Bay is another one. It's a lot coming from these West Coast style offenses, like Shanahan,
Mhm.
where it's just like, let's come in, let's do our best, let's work, and let's have fun. I've been able to be a part of, like the Patriots, but the Browns, they're very similar. Now look, all these places that we're talking about, they work hard. They come in when they're on the football field, they're playing at a high level, they're competing at a high level. But they just want, when we're done competing, let's just pull back a little bit. And I think that's working. So um I think it comes back to what you said earlier. There's multiple ways to do it. There's no right way, there's no wrong way, but you just have to make sure that it's the right way for your team. And Mayo think this is the right way for his team. So um, I wish him luck. And if anybody can do it, he can do it.
Well, let's see. You're 33 now.
Uh,
My goodness. Five boys, is that
I
right?
thought, man,
Five.
kept
Are
trying.
you are you ready to hang it up and play football with the boys, or
I
might you try to hook on somewhere?
think last year just kind of let me know where, my status in the NFL is, if somebody gets hurt, we'll give you a call or, maybe another opportunity comes up earlier. I'm not sure, but right now I am, still training to play. Um, but at the same time, I'm also focusing on that transition period of the next stage of life. So I actually, I'm coaching until I get a call. I'm coaching my 8-year-old his first year of football. So
That's great.
I don't know who's more pumped up, me or him. I think I got to keep trying to hide my excitement, but also just around with the kids. Like you said, I have 5 kids. Football has been amazing to me to be able to give me some financial freedom to be able to do playing for football and playing for the next phase of life. So if an opportunity comes up, I'm looking forward to getting on, but I want to make sure that it's the right opportunity too, because I'm just preparing for this to be my last season. Like you said, 5 kids, it's a lot of time that they need, and I can't just give it all to mommy because that's a lot.
Well, if Gerard happened to call, I'm guessing you'd come, right?
Oh, without a doubt, that'd be the perfect ending to this story. Um, I would love to be, a part of something uh, from the beginning, because they're trying to build something right, and I know they have the right people in line to do it. So if that opportunity came, I mean, that would be special. That would be a really special way to end my career. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens.
It'd be the perfect bookend, right?
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Well, Duron, thanks for spending the time. Appreciate you coming on, and who knows, maybe we'll see you down the road.
Hey, maybe we will. Thanks for having me on, Karen. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Take care.
You too.